Welcome to Haunted House, where the most terrifying, mysterious, and supernatural stories await you. If you want to hear the stories that will steal your sleep in the dead of night and make your heart race with thrill, then you've come to the right place. So, sit back, turn off the lights, and let's dive into the world of shadows, spirits, and unsolved mysteries. Story: The Midnight Train. People say, there are places in this world where time stands still, and some trains that don't follow any tracks only lead to death. In a remote station of West Bengal, near Halt, a small platform where local trains stop during the day. But after sunset, the station lies abandoned in silence. But villagers whisper that exactly at midnight, a mysterious train arrives. No records, no schedule, no announcement, no known passengers, no known destination, and those who board it never return. This story is about a young man named Abhijit, a journalist from the city. He came to investigate the mysterious disappearance of a man last seen boarding a strange train at this very station. Abhijit laughed it off, thinking it's just a local myth. But driven by truth and curiosity, he arrived at the station at 11:45 p.m. The air was cold, fog creeping in, and the silence unnatural. An old man approached and said, "Son, the midnight train doesn't arrive. It calls you." Abhijit asked, "Have you seen it?" The old man didn't reply. He vanished into the fog. And then, the clock struck 12 a.m. A distant whistle, smoke, and a train emerged from the mist, silent and ancient. It looked like a moving coffin, black, rotten, windows sealed shut. Something pulled Abhijit towards it, like a whisper in his mind. "Come inside and witness the truth." He stepped in. Inside, people sat motionless. Their eyes were hollow. Some faces were burned, others whispered tunes that chilled the blood. A woman suddenly said, "You seek the truth, journalist? Then come, see who you were looking for." In one compartment, he saw the missing man, eyes closed, blood on his lips, still as a corpse. Abhijit trembled. "What is this place?" he whispered. A voice answered, "This is a realm beyond time. Once someone enters here, they are no longer alive. But you are different." Suddenly, darkness fell. Faces emerged from the walls, screaming, crying, haunting. Abhijit looked at the window and saw his reflection. But it wasn't him. His eyes were blood red, hair pure white, face burned like it had survived fire. He tried to open the door, locked, trapped. Then, silence. A whisper. "You know the truth, so you may leave. But remember, no one will ever believe you." A burst of light. Screams. And then, he found himself lying on the bench at the station. It was morning. The sun was up. The platform, empty. He asked himself, was it just a dream? But his phone had recorded a video, automatically. The video showed that exact train, those exact people, and at the very end, one line flashed on the screen. "The midnight train will return." But for whom? It's been exactly 13 nights since Abhijit stepped off that ghost train. He doesn't sleep anymore. He doesn't eat. He just sits, eyes wide open, staring at his phone. That video, that cursed video he recorded, he plays it over and over again. Each time, something new appears in the footage. First, a face behind him. Then, a whisper. And now, last night, a hand reaching out of the screen. He tried deleting it. The file comes back. He tried smashing the phone. The screen cracks, but the video still plays, like it's alive. That night, he receives a package. No return address. Inside, an old railway ticket. Destination, unknown. Time, 12 a.m. tonight. Platform, Nirala Halt. He burns the ticket. But the ashes rearrange themselves on the floor into one word. Come. Despite every instinct screaming at him, Abhijit returns to the station. Nirala Halt looks older, almost forgotten by time. But he's not alone. He sees others waiting, silent figures, all staring at the tracks. Their faces are strange, too still. One of them turns and whispers, "You left, But you didn't close the door. Midnight strikes. The train arrives, but it looks different this time. Longer, darker, hungrier. He feels the same pull, like before, but stronger. This time, not in his mind. It's inside his bones. He tries to run, but the platform stretches endlessly. He runs and runs, yet the train door stays beside him. Finally, out of breath, he collapses, and the door opens on its own. He's dragged inside. Everything is darker. No passengers. Only whispers. You brought them out, Abhijit. Now they're here, in your world. Suddenly, the train windows vanish. Outside, he sees familiar places. His home, his office, the streets. But shadows crawl on every wall. The dead have followed him back. A loud voice shakes the train. The door must be closed. One must stay behind. Abhijit screams, "No, I'm not the one." But the train doesn't care. It halts once more at Nirala Halt. He's pushed out. Lying on the ground, shaking, he hears the whistle fade away. But something's wrong. He turns around and sees himself still inside the train, staring back at him, smiling. That version of him waves as the train vanishes into smoke. And Abhijit, he looks at his reflection on a broken glass. The eyes are hollow. He whispers to himself, "Did I ever leave the train?" Cut to black. Abhijit hasn't spoken in 21 days. Doctors say he's alive, but not present. He sits by the window of his hospital room, staring at nothing, mumbling only one word, "Train." But the truth is far worse. Because the man in the hospital isn't Abhijit. The real Abhijit is still inside the train. And the version that stepped off is something else. This new Abhijit knows things he shouldn't. He speaks languages he never learned. He draws strange symbols on the walls at night. One nurse found him whispering to himself, "It's coming for more. I was just the first." Meanwhile, in the real world, people start disappearing near Nirala Halt station. Locals say they hear a train whistle every night, not at 12 o'clock, but at 12:07 a.m. They say shadows crawl into homes, pulling people out silently. CCTV footage shows people walking straight into the tracks, vanishing. Then one night, a railway worker sees a train in the distance, on a line that's been decommissioned for 40 years. He radios for help. But before the line cuts, he screams. "It has faces on the wheels. They're looking at me." Back in the hospital, the possessed Abhijit smiles. He writes one line on the mirror in blood. The door remains open. That night, the nurse who finds the message disappears. Her name later appears in a fogged-up window of a passing train, seen by no one but a homeless man who hasn't spoken in years. A group of paranormal investigators decides to board the train. They wait at Nirala Halt with special equipment, EMF detectors, thermal cameras, chants. At 12:07, the train does arrive. But it never stops. Still, one by one, the team vanishes. Their gadgets fall to the ground. Only one camera survives. And in the final seconds of the recording, a shadowy figure appears near the train door. His face. It's Abhijit. But his eyes are burning coals. He looks directly at the camera and says, "You opened the door with your curiosity. Now the train knows your name. It will stop at your station, soon." Black screen. Sound of a distant whistle. It's been 49 days since the last sighting of the ghost train. Authorities have shut down Nirala Halt, declaring it unsafe. But deep inside the government archives, a secret file has opened. Case ID 1207 Ghostline. Inside, grainy photos of people last seen boarding a train that doesn't exist. Audio recordings of screaming wheels, but no physical trains. Handwritten confessions from a possessed Abhijit locked in a high-security asylum. But this part of the story isn't about him. It's about Jisha, a 17-year-old girl from Kolkata. Curious, obsessed with unsolved mysteries, and somehow connected, because she's been dreaming of a station covered in ash, with clocks that run backward, and a train waiting for her, with her name printed on the door. Jisha's grandfather used to be a railway guard. Before his death, he left her a diary. On the last page, only one line. The station doesn't exist until you remember it. One night, Jisha follows the clues. She finds a map that leads nowhere. But still she walks. The further she goes, the colder it gets. Time on her phone freezes at 12:07 a.m. And suddenly, she finds it. A forgotten platform. No nameplate. No lights. Just mist and silence, and the sound of a distant whistle. A train arrives. Old. Rusted. Silent. She steps inside. The compartments are filled with mirrors, each showing different versions of herself. In one, she's screaming. In another, she's floating, lifeless. And in one, she sees Abhijit, still inside, whispering, "You're the key. Only you can end this." Suddenly, the door behind her shuts. She runs. Each door she opens leads to a different world. A school haunted by crying children. A forest where the trees whisper her name. A hospital corridor with blood-smeared walls. She's not just on a train, she's inside a network of souls lost in time. Finally, she reaches the engine room. No driver. Only a mirror, cracked in the middle. And a voice from behind. To stop the train, one must become the station. Jisha turns. A shadowy woman with no eyes stands there. A spirit, who was once the first passenger. She says, "The train is hungry. It feeds on the forgotten. But you were remembered. That makes you dangerous." Jisha is given a choice. Stay inside forever, or derail the train and set the souls free. But if she does, she may not survive. She takes the lever, whispers a prayer, and pulls. Sudden explosion. Screams. Light bursts through the train windows for the first time. We cut to black. A local man finds an old railway pocket watch buried in the soil near Nirala Halt. It's ticking again. And inside, a photo of Jisha smiling. But the train, it's gone. Or is it? In the last shot, a child's drawing pinned on a wall. A train. No tracks. Smoke foaming into a face. Underneath. See you at 12:07. Before Abhijit. Before Jisha. Before the train had a name. There was only him. The man who blew the first whistle. The first conductor. His name was Rudranath Lahiri. A brilliant railway engineer from 1896 British India. Known for his obsession with time, death, and motion. The British assigned him a top-secret project. A railway line that would connect Kolkata to regions where no time existed. They called it Project 1207. Rudranath worked night and day. He designed a train with black metal never seen before, forged near a cremation ground. Instead of coal, it ran on ashes. Instead of schedules, it followed the final thoughts of the dead. And when he completed it, something went wrong. On the night of the first trial run, the entire crew vanished. Only the train returned, empty, with dried blood on every handle. Rudranath, obsessed, boarded the train himself, and was never seen again. But the train kept coming back. Once every 12 years, on July 7th, at 12:07 a.m. At forgotten platforms, it would appear. And now, it's appearing more frequently. Why? Because Rudranath's soul never left. Inside the engine room, in a shadowy chamber, sits a skeleton with burning eyes. He still wears his British-era conductor's hat. He is the keeper of the route between life and death. Anyone who tries to stop the train faces him. Back to present day. Jisha is gone. Abhijit is trapped in a loop. And a new boy, 12-year-old Ritwik, finds an old train whistle in his grandfather's trunk. The moment he blows it, his house trembles. A door appears in the wall, made of steel, with a symbol that looks like a watch melting. Behind the door, a corridor of tracks. He steps through. He is now inside the train between worlds. The first voice he hears, not a ghost, not a soul, but Rudranath himself. Welcome aboard. You are early, but that's good. You will carry the line forward. Ritwik is shown the map of death lines, routes where trapped souls cry forever. and Rudranath offers him a deal. Become the new conductor. You'll live forever. Or walk out now, and forget everything you've seen. But Ritwik does something no one did before. He asks, what happens if the train itself is derailed from time? Rudranath freezes. The lights flicker. Souls scream, because no one ever questioned the train itself. In that moment, Ritwik pulls out a clock from his pocket. It belonged to his great-great-grandfather. It was Rudranath's. And as the minute hand strikes 12:07, Ritwik whispers, I'm not your passenger. I'm your end. He smashes the watch. Time collapses. The train begins to melt. The compartments twist. Souls escape in flashes of light. Rudranath roars in pain. The train vanishes. Ritwik wakes up in his bed. But his hair has turned silver. He finds a single train ticket on his table. It says, Platform 0, return pending. And on his window, the shadow of a train passes by. Without tracks. Without sound. Just a single whisper in the air. The line was broken, but not erased. Ritwik wakes up every day at 12:07 a.m. Not by choice, but as if someone is pulling his soul awake. His hair is still silver. His skin, colder than normal. And mirrors around his house keep fogging up on their own, with train numbers, clocks, and the word, return. One night, Ritwik finds something under his bed. It's not the ticket. It's a compartment key. Old, rusty, numbered C13. And when he touches it, the walls shake. A voice echoes through his room. You freed the souls, but not the engine. Suddenly, the door to his closet opens by itself. Inside, black smoke, a railway corridor, and at the end, a flickering signboard that says, Platform 0, arrival confirmed. Ritwik steps through. Clapperboard scene shift. Platform 0 is nothing like before. Now it's alive. You can hear the breathing of souls. Hundreds of abandoned luggage bags move on their own. Old clocks tick backward, and ghostly figures stand frozen, waiting for a train that doesn't come. Suddenly, a loud horn. The ground trembles. The train returns. Only one door opens. Ritwik enters compartment C13. It's not a normal carriage. Inside, a giant library of passenger files. Photos, names, death dates, and return status. All of them are marked, departed, except one. Ritwik Mondal. Return pending. Suddenly, Rudranath Lahiri's voice echoes again. You didn't stop the train. You only delayed it. Now, you must take it to the final station. Ritwik is trapped. The engine won't start without him. And if he refuses, the train will appear in the real world, taking lives, entire towns, maybe even time itself. So he agrees, on one condition. I'll drive it, but I choose the destination. Rudranath laughs. Then choose well, for your own past might board too. Ritwik begins the journey. Each station they cross is from someone's nightmare. An abandoned school of dead students. A sunken village haunted by laughing ghosts. A city looped in time, exploding every 5 minutes. But the final destination, a place even Rudranath feared. Station 000, the origin, the birthplace of the train, where the first deal with darkness was made. Ritwik drives the train there, and what he finds changes everything. Because in a mirror in the station wall, he sees himself as a boy, boarding the train for the first time, years ago. But if he already entered once, then who is he now? Ritwik suddenly realizes, he is not the first. He is a looped soul, living this horror again and again. Only this time, he remembers. And only memory can break the cycle. He lights the compartment key on fire. The files burn. The train screeches. Ghosts scream. Everything collapses. A train station in Kolkata. A little girl finds a ticket on the floor. It says, Platform 0, passenger, Ritwik Mondal, status, released. She looks up, smiles, because the name isn't unfamiliar. It's her brother's name. And somewhere far away, a man with silver hair walks through a field, free, but glancing behind him, just in case he hears the whistle. One more time. It's been 3 years since Ritwik vanished. No police case solved it. No CCTV footage captured it. Only one thing remained behind. A silver strand of hair, lying near Anwesha's bed. Since that night, Anwesha, now 14, dreams of only one thing. A train without tracks, moving through smoke, with a glowing name. The Midnight Line, passenger 1207. One morning, she finds a ticket under her pillow. Same handwriting, same date. But this time, the name on it is hers. Anwesha Mondal, status, pending entry. She hides it, but the mirror fogs up with the words. He gave you freedom. Now return what he left behind. Anwesha begins noticing strange things. At 12:07 a.m., her phone rings, no caller ID, just train static. Her room smells of burning metal. And sometimes, she hears a whistle, even when she's awake. On her 15th birthday, she visits their ancestral home in Murshidabad. Inside the attic, she finds an old suitcase. Inside it, a diary, a burnt train map, and a conductor's cap with a name stitched in faded thread, Ritwik. Suddenly, the room freezes. The floor beneath her breaks. She falls and lands in an underground station. No light, no platform signs, only fog. A train screeches in from nowhere. Door opens. This time, no voices, no guides, only a glowing instruction. Board if you remember. Leave if you doubt. Anwesha boards. Inside, everything's changed. The compartments are no longer haunted. They're empty, as if they're waiting to be filled again. But in every window, she sees flashes of her past. Her brother's final smile. Her family's silence. Herself as a baby, being held by a man with silver hair. She realizes Ritwik came back once, and he left a part of himself behind, inside her. Suddenly, the train stops. A figure appears, cloaked in smoke. It's Rudranath Lahiri, now weaker, unstable, but still present. He says, "The boy broke the route, but someone must repair it. And the train has chosen you." Anwesha refuses, but Rudranath warns. Each soul freed leaves behind a crack, and one day, something worse than death will crawl through it. Anwesha discovers the vault room of the train. Inside, 1,000 candles, each representing a trapped passenger. But only one candle is still lit, labeled Ritwik, time-lost soul. To truly free him, she must extinguish it. But to do so, she must give her memory of him. She hesitates. Suddenly, the compartment shakes. The sky outside turns blood red. A new force is coming. Something that never wanted the train to stop. Something older than Rudranath. A voice booms. If memory breaks the train, then let forgetting fuel it again. The train tries to leave with Anwesha inside. But she grabs the conductor's hat, Ritwik's hat, places it on the control lever, and whispers, "You took my brother. Now take me, but leave the train." She throws the candle out the window, and everything explodes into light. Anwesha wakes up in her bed. Beside her, a photo of her and Ritwik, but something strange. Ritwik's face is fading, like old ink. Her phone buzzes. A new message. From an unknown number. No more passengers. The line has closed. She looks in the mirror. No silver hair. No fog. Just silence. But far away, under a mountain in Darjeeling, a train engine is buried deep in stone, and a heartbeat echoes inside it. Tick, tick, 12:06. The clock is moving again. Before India knew railroads, before British engineers ever laid a track, there was a forest in the east, dense, untouched, cursed by time. In that forest, an Agori known as Vishrant Baba created something never meant for this world. A soul track, not for trains, but for transferring spirits from the world of the dead to the living. Using bones, rusted weapons, ash from Shamshan grounds, and whispers from lost souls. He built the first engine of passage. Not a machine, not a spell, but a living thing, forged from grief. And he named it Adharmic Vahan, the vehicle of the unfinished. Anwesha has burned Ritwik's candle. The train vanished. But the curse, it fractured, not died. She begins to hear two sets of footsteps behind her every time she walks. Old mirrors in the house reflect someone else's silhouette. And one night, her laptop shows a file that wasn't there before. vborigin.mp4. She clicks it. A grainy black and white video begins. A ritual. A forest. A man with no eyes. Bones shaped like tracks. And then, a sound. Not a train. Not a whistle. But breathing, like a beast. The video ends with one message. The train was never mechanical. It was hungry. Anwesha contacts a retired paranormal historian, Professor Arindam Day, from Kolkata. He confirms. There are mentions in tantric texts of an agori line that carries regret, not people. It moves only at night, and whoever builds it becomes part of the tracks. They go to the ruins of an ancient cremation ground near Rajmahal Hills. There, buried beneath a centuries-old banyan tree, they find a skull-shaped railway switch, with blood still fresh on the metal. Suddenly, the ground shakes. A voice hums. Tracks forgotten. God remembered. And they see him, Vishrant Baba, still alive. Or something that used to be him. Vishrant floats, his body now fused with rusted chains and decayed sleepers. He controls the train lines from beneath the earth. He says to Anwesha, Ritwik escaped your curse. But you were born on the tracks. It is revealed. On the day Anwesha was born, Ritwik and his parents had a near-death accident. That was the first time the train crossed into the real world. And to save Ritwik, a deal was made, unknowingly, by their mother. One child would ride life. One would ride death. Anwesha was the second. And now, Vishrant wants her soul to power the new engine. Anwesha refuses. She remembers every moment with Ritwik. She chants a counter-curse, one she found in her brother's diary. May my grief stay in me. May my train run on memory, not on blood. Suddenly, the earth cracks. All the ancient forgotten passengers, souls who never got peace, rise from the dust. They surround Vishrant. One by one, they climb onto him, pulling his rusted soul down, back into the mud, back into silence. The broken track splits, and the ground closes forever. Anwesha wakes up in the hospital. Professor Day is gone. Only one thing is found near her bed, a pendrive. Inside it, a folder called Passenger Zero, Unnamed Baby Girl, Status, Missed Departure. She smiles. No train sound, no fog, but one thing still plays in her head. The echo of a whisper. You broke the track, but not the road. Cut to a distant, abandoned station. A child draws tracks in the dust, and a voice hums. Tick, tick, 12, 11. The countdown starts again. The fog thickened as Anwesha stepped onto the final coach, the air heavy with silence and unseen eyes. Time seemed to freeze, and shadows whispered secrets long buried. In the heart of the train, she found not a driver or conductor, but a shimmering mirror, reflecting every fragment of her soul. Faces from her past flickered, the innocent child, the fierce protector, the curious sister. The train spoke without words. You are not merely a passenger. You are the track, the path, the reason this journey exists. Anwesha realized then that the train was powered by the grief and regrets she and Ritwik carried. The endless loop was a cycle of unfinished stories and unhealed wounds. With a steady breath, she called out Ritwik's name, not with pain, but with peace. A brilliant light filled the carriage. The shadows dissolved, and the haunting whispers quieted. The train slowed, releasing its captive souls, who stepped into the dawn with serene smiles. Anwesha felt herself fading, not into darkness, but into calm light. Years later, an abandoned platform lies silent, bathed in soft morning light. A small child places a paper boat on the cracked rails. A gentle breeze stirs, and though no train arrives, the faint sound of a distant whistle echoes. A voice whispers on the wind. The journey ends, but the legend rides on. Thank you for riding along on this mysterious journey with The Midnight Train. If this story sent chills down your spine, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel to never miss a new tale of suspense and horror. Share this video with your fellow thrill seekers and keep the legend alive. Remember, every story has an ending, but every ending is just a new beginning. Stay curious. Stay brave. Until next time, keep your eyes open. You never know what's lurking on the tracks.